guys. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get my my, my machine going here. Hold on. I'm gonna have to change my tripod because this one's not working. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Yeah, hold on. Bear with me, guys. So sorry. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I know I'm trying not to give you guys seasickness or motion sickness today. There we go. All right. So we are going to be going through cutting and interfacing the Peekaboo beauty bag today. Okay. All right. So Peekaboo beauty bag. All right, so this is the bag we're going to be making this week, should I say. Today we're going to be going through the cutting instructions, how to get everything cut, some extra tips here on the zipper tabs that I've added onto mine, reducing the bulk for this bag so that you can do it on a domestic sewing machine. So let's go ahead and get started. I know I've got you guys already like all wobbled and everything else today. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is we're going to need our pattern and our pattern pieces. So if you purchase the kit, then you would have had the printed instructions and the cardstock pattern pieces. So on top of that, you're going to need a marking tool. I am going to be using a mark or a Sharpie. You guys can use pens or anything else like that if you'd like to. So get all of your pieces out that came in your kit. So if you are working with a canvas, you're not interfacing the canvas because it's already thick, so we don't want to interface it too much. If we were going to interface our canvas, then I would suggest getting it out of the seam allowances. Okay, so we need our canvas, we need our vinyl, and our lining, as well as our zipper and the hardware that came with your in your kit. So our kit comes with the Moremeknow handcrafted hardware. So all of this stuff is really good quality stuff that you can use at home. It makes it look extra professional. It really gives it that extra little edge that you can look forward to. Okay, so on my pattern pieces, I remember saying this last week when we went for a short little video, I say to mark all of your pieces. So your main fabric piece, I like to make that piece A. Your two side accent pieces that will be cut from vinyl is B. And then our interior lining piece is going to be C. Okay, so what we're going to work with first is our main is A. So everything else can get set aside. I'm just trying to clean off my work area for you guys. So here with A, if you have a directional print, so I want my stripes to go from left to right rather than up and down. So because I want my stripes to go left and right rather than up and down, I want to make sure that when I put my piece my fabric down to cut this piece off, this is the orientation it goes to. This is the top, and these are our sides. Top, bottom, sides. So the long part of the rectangle is our side pieces, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, and anytime you are working with fabric, you're wanting to go ahead and fold it because it has to have two pieces. I like to kind of fold it a little bit, make sure I can get my whole pattern piece in, shimmy it a little bit over. There we go. If you are working with stripes and you're wanting your stripes to match, you can be very meticulous and match up your stripes and all that stuff, but these will not match up at any point because we have our accent pieces. So I'm not going to go all crazy about that. So once I've done that, I can go ahead and press. Okay. Once you've pressed it, and make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. So my iron turned off on me. It has an automatic shut off, which is great when I'm not doing lives. Okay, so now that I've pressed it, so they just kind of get most of the wrinkles out of it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern piece, remember the orientation, top, bottom, side, and trace around it. Just trace around it. Oops. All my pattern pieces end up getting marks all over them, just like that, because that's how I do it. Okay, there we go. So now that I've traced that, now I'm going to go ahead and you can pin or clip. I'm just going to pin it. Anytime you work with more than one layer, you want to either pin or clip your layers together. If you cannot pin because you're using vinyl, I'm going to show you what we'll do with that in a minute when we get to that. But if you can use pins, use pins. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to cut all the way around. So some people ask me, do I cut on the line, around the line, or inside the line? I say it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to be right outside the line. I like to cut both these pieces first, and then because of the way I've fussy cutted this, or made sure I have some extra over here for an accent panel that I can definitely use on something else. Okay, so this piece I'm just going to cut off. This piece I'm not going to be able to use, so I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, but all this, especially this long piece here, I can use for that for something. So I'm going to set that aside because I can use that again. Okay. If you're using cotton for this and you're wanting, you can block interface this. What that means is you would establish how much interfacing you're going to need, interface it, fold it in half, trace around it, pin it, trace it, cut it, done. And then that way you're only cutting once. You're not cutting twice. You're not cutting the interfacing and then this piece and then fusing it together. Fuse it together first, then cut around it all at once. Okay, so now these are our main pieces. Okay, so remember that the long edges are going to be our side pieces. So all I like to do is just make a couple of little, just tiny little snips on either side, just two little snips. This is just something that I have picked up from garment making. It just helps me know that those are my sides. So when I'm going to the sewing machine to quickly do it, I can get it done. All right, so we're going to set those pattern pieces aside. I like to take my pattern piece together and literally clip it together. So then that way I can keep it together, all in one place. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the B. Pattern piece B is our vinyl pieces. So we are cutting this two at a time. Okay, so right here I have a fold in my vinyl. It comes out very easily. You just take a nice iron, hot iron to the wrong side. Never, ever, 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 ever put the iron on the right side. And just like that, it's magic. See that? Magic, magic, magic. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this around and we're going to fold it pretty sides touching. Okay. Pretty sides touching. I'm going to go ahead and clip this down. And clip this one down. Okay. And then I'm going to put these pieces on either side. Okay. So, chances are you're going to want to do this like this, which is totally fine. Okay. As long as you get 2 of each one. Okay. Because you're going to need a left and a right. So I would almost say don't do that, because then you're going to get 2 right pieces. So don't do that, even though you really want to. You want to make sure that this stays up. Okay. Like that, or I don't know how I did it last time. I think I did it like that. There we go. Like that. So I like to take my piece and I'm going to fold it back a little bit more so that this pattern piece lands right on there and I'm not having much waste. Clip it, clip it, clip it. So I'm literally making sure that on this fold, my piece is right up against that piece. It is not overlapping. That's not going to work there because I'm going to get into that a little bit. So, yeah. We'll do this piece here and then I'll do the next piece. Okay, let's go ahead and trace around. What I tell most people is do not get into the habit of cutting with your pattern pieces down. Always remove your pattern piece and then cut. I do this because it's just good practice. And if not, you're going to end up having a smaller pattern piece by the end of the day. And then you're going to be like, what happened to my pattern pieces? Why don't things line up anymore? Because every time you cut, you always try not to overcut, and then you're cutting into your pattern piece. Or because you're trying not to overcut, you're cutting into your, then you end up cutting. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking my clips and I'm moving them over so that I can use this fold line here as my cut. There we go. Snipped a little too much that way. That's okay. All right, so there's that one. If you don't want to cut it right on the fold like I did, I'll show you how we do it without cutting it on the fold. Okay, so all right, so just to make sure I don't have 2 of the same piece, I'm going to take this piece, pop it on there, and move it aside. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do it if you're not cutting it on the fold, which is it is a little more difficult to do when you're working with vinyl. It is harder to cut it out that way. So what you're going to do is I'm going to line it up. As long as this edge is straight, you can use these edges. If it's not straight, don't use it. Don't try to make it work and it's not, and then retrace the line really close to the edge. It's not going to work. Like that. And then one more piece right here. There we go. And then cut them out. I did that wrong. If I cut this one here like this, then the other one has to be mirrored so that it's pretty sides touching. So then I would do it like this. Like that. So this is what I do. All right, so that's the right line. This is not the right line. So this is the correct line. So whenever I do make a mistake like that, I just put X's on it so I know that that's my wrong line. So if you're cutting it one at a time like that, then you're going to want to make sure that you have a mirrored image of each one. Okay. We all make mistakes. Now I just wanted to make sure that I didn't cut in there because that would not be good. No bueno. Okay, so now we've got two pieces the right way. Bam. All right, so our vinyl pieces are cut. Okay, so we got our vinyl pieces cut. We got all this extra for lots and lots of things. With what you have extra here, you could easily make the wristlet with it because it's just a strip that you need for vinyl. So you don't really need much. This you can set aside for something else. Now we're going to do our lining. So for our lining, I'm going to do it on the fold. So I like to open it up. Okay. This over here is my fold. I can take that and put it there, but then I'm wasting all that beautiful fabric over there. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to refold it. Going to refold it. You need two on the fold. Oh, well then that's why. Hello. I forgot. If I only needed two pieces, then I would do that. But I'm folding it again so that it's 4 layers. Okay. With this type of fabric, you can do that without any problem because it is so thin. You're going to clip around the edges. Just clip around the edges so it's not moving on you. Trace. And cut. We are not cutting this fold. Okay, so I have to keep that in mind because sometimes when I'm cutting things on the fold, when pattern pieces don't need to be on the fold, I will cut that. So I just want to make sure I remember that. So I'm going to keep that pattern piece right there so it reminds me, don't cut the fold. And then just cut around. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. This is a fairly easy, straightforward pattern that we're doing. So it's not that difficult, really. It's a great start into bag making, especially if you have a domestic and you're really wanting to get some bags done. Okay, so right over here, I'm just going to cut 2 of these little squares out so that I can use it for my zipper tabs. Actually, I'm just going to do it right here. Okay. So all you need for your zipper tabs that are not included in the pattern piece are 2 by 2 inch squares. Okay, you just need 2 of them. And I'll show you how to prep those here in a second. So for cutting, that is everything you need for cutting. So now we've gotten all our pattern pieces cut. If you wanted to do a wristlet with this, you can. This is not going to be a wristlet option on this one. This is just a beauty bag, so I'm not adding anything else to it. If you wanted to do D-ring connectors and different things like that to have it be a crossbody and all that stuff, you can. But right now we're doing it very, very simple, just as the pattern has directed. The only difference is there's these zipper tabs, and these make a world of difference when it comes to assembly. So let's get our zipper prepped. So for our zipper, we're going to need our zipper tabs, and then you're going to need let's see here. We can't quite do both zipper ends just yet. I'll show you how to do one of them here on camera. And then I'll show you what to do after, because you have to put your A and B pieces together on the sewing machine. So what I'm going to show you this on the Peekaboo blade, because these two panels here on the two accent panels get added to the main panel. That's what tells us the length we need the finished zipper to be. So I'm not going to know what exactly that's going to be until I've put this together, and I'm not going to give that measurement away because this is not my pattern. So you have to kind of sew along with us to kind of get this going. And if you need the pattern, you can either go to moremeknow.com and get her pattern there, or you can buy the kit. And I'll leave a link to that below. After I go live, it'll probably be tomorrow or something like that. So I'll show you how to do one zipper tab end, and then we can do it on the sewing machine on Friday. So what we're going to do is you're going to fold your 2x2 inch in half and do a nice little crease. Okay, then you're going to take each other end and fold it towards it. This is hot dog style. So it looks like a hot dog bun, like a taco, right? So we're making a little taco sandwich right here. There we go, just like that. And we're going to put this over the end and clip it. Okay, and clip it in place. That is our zipper end. When we get to the sewing machine, you just sew that down. But right now, I'm just going to leave that right there just the way it is. And make sure to bring these pieces with me onto the sewing machine when I get started. Now, if you have my kit, you are going to have the hardware. I'm going to show you how to install the hardware today. That's all in the prep work. That's what I like to use as prep work. Okay, so for this, okay, you want to establish which one is the one you want to be the front. So if you had something that was really pretty, really pronounced one way or another, you would see which one it is, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab one. Okay, so for this, all I'm going to do is fold it in half, crease it, or you can press it just to get a really pronounced center mark, just like that. Okay, then now here you can measure down how many inches you want this to be. So for me personally, I like mine to be right here. So I think if I'm not mistaken, that was about 3 inches down is what I did previously. You can mark this on your pattern pieces so that the next time you do it, you can do it consistently. Okay, so I like to batch sew. So I want to make sure. Okay, so that's 2 inches down, and then there's a 1/2 inch seam allowance up here. So that's 2.5 inches. So I'm going to come down 2.5 inches. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to do this on the wrong side. So come down 2.5 inches. That's my center mark right there. Okay, so now we've got these. Here you've got the prongs, open it up. Okay, and then you've got the washer. You just want to place the washer towards the center of that mark and mark it on each side. Now, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and measure out how far that is. For me, yep. Okay. Okay, mark it on each side of that. Take your seam ripper and crack it open just a tiny bit, not too much, not too much. Just like that. Okay, just like that. If you're using a cotton or something like that, you could put some fray check on it. You don't have to, but you can. What I like to do, just to be extra, extra, extra insurance, I just grab a little piece of either interfacing or whatever you have on hand, really. It doesn't really much matter. I'm going to make the holes in this. And I just like to have an extra piece of fabric, interfacing, foam, something in this so that these prongs don't wear out the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to come back from this side, make sure that if there is a direction, top, bottom, make sure that it's facing the correct way, that the letters are going the right way. Push it through the prongs, just like that. Put my little extra piece of fabric. It's just an extra layer of protection. And then my washer. And then I like to push them open, personally. There we go. And that's how you install the hardware. So again, if you wanted to on your pattern piece, you can mark out where that is on your pattern piece. So you can go ahead and mark that down however you wanted to and make the lines. I usually like to do it on this side of it so it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing otherwise. All right, come down. I'm just going to show you how I do it. That's the center. If I had my prongs, it's 1 inch wide, so I could just okay. You could make your little marks and then use those marks when you're doing your prongs. Okay, there we go. So that's how you put it on your pattern piece. So that is all for today. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, mark them down below. Be happy to answer anything that you have, any questions you might have. So just a quick little recap. We need our 2 front pieces, our 2 main panels. We need 4 of B, 4 right and 4 left. Sorry, 2 right and 2 left. Okay, so 2 right and 2 left. That's what we're going to need there. And then you're going to need 2 2x2 inch squares, and then your lining pieces as well. So that's everything that we need for today. That's everything we need prepped for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that lovely stuff. I think I'm doing more Instagram than anything else lately. So if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on Friday when we actually do the sew along portion of it. So this is just all the prep work. Now you're ready to go to the sewing machine and start sewing. All right, guys, happy sewing. Bye.